Hey y'all, I am back with another scrapbooking and mini album process, and this time I'm going to be including both processes in this one video. So I am starting off with a 12 by 12 layout, and this one is all about layers. So I'm going to show you guys how I layered up on this and how I kind of took it to another level by adding my circle punch, or adding my circle punch into the mix, and then using lots of embellishments for layers and not just paper. So I really wanted to use this triangular geometric paper that's exclusive to the Hip Kit Club. And so I went ahead and just cut it diagonally. And I've done this several times before, but I obviously didn't want to use the entire sheet. For one, I think, it might be too busy for, especially because I'm going to be adding tons of layers on top. And for two, I wanted to save some because I love that paper so much. So I didn't want to use all of it for the background, and I really liked how it coordinated pretty well with the craft. It would have gone beautifully with the white too, but with white cardstock as well, but I just loved how soft the craft was with this bold paper. So I'm starting to kind of layer up my papers, and what I love about these colors is that they don't really, well, everything in this kit really goes perfectly together, but I'm adding quite a bit of pattern on top of pattern, and it still looks pretty good. And I normally would get afraid of that, but I think because there's so much color variation in these kits and in these papers, it really, all the different colors show. So I love that, and they don't clash, I guess is what I was trying to say. So I'm taking my circle punch, and at this point, I guess when I punched out the part that said She Blooms, and that's an Illustrated Faith paper, when I punched that out, I realized pretty quickly that I wanted to use that on the page. Then when I set it on the page, I realized I didn't just want one circle element, I wanted several. So I started to layer up my layer behind my photo, and I just did kind of a vertical design. Sorry, I'm kind of skipping around a little bit, but I did a vertical design because I like how you can see all the different layers when I do that, and versus just kind of versus going around the photo. Instead, you can see all the different pretty colors. So I often just mat the photo and go around the photo several times, and you can still see the layers okay, but not near as good as you can see them in this layout. So I like to change it up from time to time. So when I punched that piece that said She Blooms, I realized pretty quickly that I wanted more circular elements on the page, and I wanted them to go diagonal. So I started to just punch other ones with different sizes, and I wanted a lot of color variation. Like the bottom left hand corner, I obviously didn't want to add too much pattern or too many smaller patterns because of the triangular pattern behind those. So I used like a couple of bold colors that would pop off of that with very subtle designs. So uh, let's see, I'm trying to figure out what I'm doing here. I'm looking for something. I think right now I'm looking for something for my title, possibly. So I kind of move on to something else. But one thing that I knew that I wanted to do and that I love to do and I've done before is to layer right on top of those circles. And so I'm starting to add puppy stickers. And then I realized pretty quickly that I wanted a title made with these Bella Boulevard chipboard stickers or chipboard pieces, and they have their phrases or words, I guess. And I chose the one that said cherish, and I just used one of my Avery Elle inks from my stash to color that, and I thought that the color went pretty well with the rest of the layout. I'm also adding an exclusive butterfly flare, and then I'm choosing some of those Jelly Bean Soup, Healthy Hello Soup, I think, wood veneer to add right on top of some of the other layers. So I'm just kind of going through and seeing how I want to add right on top of those existing layers. And I like how it all really turns out in the end. And here I've added an exclusive piece of ephemera, and then I added two actually right on top of each other. And then I'm kind of looking to see what I want on top of that feather. I think I added a couple of enamel dots. Yeah, I do. I think I had tried to layer up two feathers, but I didn't think that it went that looked as good as I guess it did in my head. So, and then I used one of those bow clips, so I just popped that whole entire piece up on what is that called? Fun foam, I think. I think I just got it at Michael's or Hobby Lobby, one of those places. So that was my scrapbook layout, and you'll see some final photos at the end, so stay tuned for that. But I'm going to move on to my mini album process. So for this one, I knew that I wanted to use that piece that said hello. That's an exclusive, it was a 4x6 card that I cut down. And I didn't actually need that card for anything, and so I decided to cut it down and use it. And this is a great way to use your cards or make the most out of your cards, and you can use them on actual layouts. So this one is kind of like my last one. I'm still working on my maternity album, and this page is a 6x8 page. And if you saw my last, I think it was my last Hip Kit Club video, I did a similar spread, and so you can check that out if you haven't already seen it. But I decided to go ahead and do another spread because the back of that other one needs to be filled in, or needs a back. Does that make sense? Okay. So I was doing a 6x8 page. I decided to use that card that said hello, and then the title. So it's kind of going to be its own little title page. There's not going to be any pictures on it, but there will be a piece of, or a little part where I journal. I kind of manipulated that balloon. It's a puffy sticker, and that's exclusive, and I just made it go down rather than to the right is what it was supposed to do. So I just, because they're flexible, I manipulated it to where it could just go down vertical, or just go vertically. And then I added my journaling and added a couple different embellishments. I think one of those was a heart, enamel heart from, what is it called? Is it Illustrated Faith? I think it is. And then the other piece was just a wood veneer from that same wood veneer pack that I've been using from Jelly Bean Soup. And the top of this page, so this is this layout, or this spread is going to be a 4x6 and then two 3x4 pieces. And I just decided to cut up one of those papers. So that paper is the same paper that I used on the left-hand side for the 6x8 sheet. And I just went ahead and used the rest of it, or not the rest of it, but I used another piece of that to cut a 4x6 card. And I'm just working on a photo of me and my two grandmothers that came to my shower, or they were at my shower. And so, or one of them, I think they probably came to all of them. But anyway, that's beside the point. Someone photographed that, so I decided to use that as one of my first photos in the this particular layout. And kind of my thought process is, I'm going to start this little section, I guess, of photos of just shower photos. So that's why I kind of wanted my own little title, which is why I did that at the beginning. And then this is kind of the start of the shower season. It's not going to be in order because the first shower we had was actually in Houston, and this one was in Waco. But I didn't really care too much to get this perfectly in order. I just wanted to document that I had some showers, and that we were really blessed to have them, and have family and friends who cared about us and threw us those showers. So that's really all that I'm focusing on. I'm not caring too much about the fact that I'm documenting a shower that happened, like, I think this was probably one of my last showers, to be honest. But anyway, so if you notice, I cut off that wood veneer piece that is from Illustrated Faith, maybe, or the Boulevard Illustrated Faith collection, She Blooms, and it was just like a little banner shape, and I cut it off because I didn't want. Why didn't I want the whole thing on there? I think it took too much space, and I wanted to be able to see that butterfly placemat. And then I'm also just adding a couple of other little elements to the card down on the left-hand side. Added a puffy cloud, and then I used my tab punch to punch out one of those exclusive papers. And I'm using some enamel dots. Whoa, that cut off super quick. I have no idea what happened. But anyway, that is the final layout, and you guys will see some final photos, and I'll try to slow those down just a little bit. Okay, there you go. I got it to slow down. And I hope you guys have a great week, and let me know if you have any questions, and make sure to check out the Hip Kit Club website.